Coverage continues at 6 o'clock. KIRO 7's Essex Porter asks if there is still a threat to the neighborhood.
We're giving you a glimpse from the cockpit of Chopper 7, and we start with Deborah Horn first at the scene this afternoon. And Deborah, I know since 5 you've been asking about the chemicals stored in that building.
Angela, in the last half hour, our colleague Lindsay Sheldon has gotten that list of chemicals from the Seattle Public Utilities. So we now know inside that building, among other things, was cadmium, acids of various types, nickel and copper. All of it contributed to a dangerous stew for firefighters. Even before we could get to the fire, we could see the thick, black, acrid smoke pouring from the warehouse belonging to ASCO Processing.
And it started on the floor of the warehouse.
We stopped Kent Kessler, ASCO production manager, to find out what might be contributing to the massive fire firefighters were battling. Why is it burning like this?
I don't know why that's burning. It got out of control. But
are there plating materials or chemicals?
I'm not sure what is stored in there. I mean, we do work in there.
It was during that work, according to one employee, that the fire started. It began as an electrical fire in what he called a magnetic machine. Workers tried putting it out with fire extinguishers, but the oil caught fire and spread to the rest of the building. The workers escaped before it was engulfed. By the time Chopper 7 arrived, firefighters knew they were dealing with a stubborn chemical fire that was already spreading to at least one adjacent building. So they quickly pulled a second alarm.
There's a lot of different substances inside, including some substances that are hazardous materials. And you can smell that it's a toxic. This is nasty stuff. You don't want to be breathing if you don't have to.
That smell is still in the air. In fact, my throat has been burning a bit, as have my eyes. Now, I will say that it has subsided a little bit because it is clearing a bit, but you can still see a bit of a haze from this fire. This is one of those rare fires that has affected just about everybody, including those of us here on the ground. Live in Fremont, Deborah Horn, KIRO 7 Eyewitness News.
And almost immediately after the burst of phone calls into our newsroom, Chopper 7 took off from Renton toward the fire, and the chopper quickly caught the intensity and the timeline of the inferno. Now, at 1:06 this afternoon, just after pilot Jamie Hansen and photographer Brian Dorflinger got airborne, they could see that black smoke billowing from more than 10 miles away.
Got good stuff.
Well, just 2 minutes later, after they got over the crest of Queen Anne Hill, the scale of that fire became clearer. At that point, the flames were still building. The first of 3 ladder trucks was throwing water on the roof while onlookers ran around in the background there. More fire crews were getting in position, and the fire just continued to grow. All their efforts finally began to turn what was all black smoke into clouds of grayish white. By this time, it was 1:27. That is more than 20 minutes after Chopper 7 was first overhead. Now, just 5 minutes later, the worst of the roaring flames, they were out as firefighters monitored the situation from the roofs of several nearby buildings, and 3 ladder trucks showered the entire area with water.
I want to check back in with Essex Porter. Essex, I know at 5 o'clock you showed us the cleanup. Are you able to breathe easier out there?
We can breathe easy here. It's gotten cooler as a little bit of wind has come up, and from where I'm standing, the wind is blowing the smoke away. We do see the cleanup continuing, though, especially the water. Some of that water very toxic coming into the storm sewers and then heading out to the streams in this area, and that's what they're trying to stop. So they continue to pump out the storm sewers here. And of course, there is perhaps another danger here. Those who live and work here are keeping a close eye on what happens to the company. It's one of the engines of prosperity in the Fremont neighborhood. When the ASCO Metals processing factory went up in flames, the first worry was for the people inside. Doug Stacy has an art gallery next door and has suffered through a fire of his own.
That kind of jolt of adrenaline to try to see if it could be help or anything like that.
Jessica Vetz is the executive director of the Fremont Chamber of Commerce, monitoring damage to the entire business district.
Very immediate damage was internet is down, power is down, but no, it sounds like there's very little damage to other businesses.
She says ASCO and its employees are important to the character and prosperity of Fremont. Are you concerned they may not be able to reopen?
No, I don't anticipate that. I hope not, but every business has decisions that are hard and need to be made when big things happen. It's very important for Fremont to keep ASCO here. It's an integral part of our neighborhood.
No word yet on the company's plans. We'll keep asking, and we'll let you know as soon as they say. For now, reporting live in Fremont, Essex Border, KIRO 7 Eyewitness News.
And the fire's effects could have been much worse today if there was considerable wind, but Chief Meteorologist Sam Margera explains now there wasn't much to fan the flames, Sam.
Yeah, there really wasn't, Monique. I look back at